wireless signals, maybe either RF signals or infrared signals, different carrier signals are there, right? Bluetooth signals is there. Different types of wireless carriers are there, or information carriers are there. And the third one is the optical communication system, where the information is carried in the form of light, or information is transmitted as light through specially designed fibers or through specially designed optical cables. Okay. And we will see what is the basic principle, what is the basic technology involved in this particular transmission. The figure shows the basic technology involved in the optical fiber communication system. And it shows the definition of optical fiber communication system. A fiber optic communication is the method of transmitting information from one place to another by sending pulses of light through an optical fiber. Actually, we are sending pulses of light. Information is carried in the form of light through an optical fiber. Okay. So there is a transmitter and there is a receiver. In between, the informations are traveling as light, not as electrical signals. Electrical signals are actually, they are transmitted through copper wires, but through optical fibers, we are transmitting the information in the form of light, or usually we call it as an invisible light. And what is an optical fiber, or how you define an optical fiber? An optical fiber is basically a medium which is used to carry the light. So just like a copper wire which is used to carry the electrical signal, optical fiber is also a medium which is used to carry the light from one point to another point. As you can see in the figure, see, it's just like a pipe. In simple words, we can say it's a pipe that can carry light, or that can carry information as light from one point to another point. This is how the light is transmitted through an optical fiber. You can see that the light will undergo reflections inside this particular tube, and finally it will reach the other edge. Understood. So light will not leak out from this optical fiber. We will see how this is happening, or we will see how this is able to carry the information from one point to another point as light. So basically, optical fiber is a medium. In simple words, it's a medium which is used to carry the information from one point to another point, and the information is transmitted as light. Another important thing that you need to understand is optical fiber is not a copper or metallic conductor. It is basically a glass or plastic. The medium that we are using to carry the light is a glass or plastic medium. And this is a basic block diagram of an optical communication system. So what is the basic difference between an optical communication system and a normal electrical communication system? In an electrical communication system, the medium in between the transmitter and the receiver, that is this session is usually a metallic conductor, or this session usually will be a copper wire, or any other Cat6 cable or normal RF cable, whatever it may be. So it carries electrical signals. The medium between the transmitter and the receiver will be usually a metallic medium. But in the case of optical communication system, this medium will be a optical fiber. This is the basic difference between a normal communication system and an optical communication system. And the other components of the transmitting side, just like encoders are there, receivers are there, different types of coding methods are there, noise cancellation circuits are there. So all those remain same. The only difference is at the transmitting side, at the transmitter and at the receiver, and in between the transmitter and the receiver, the medium is a fiber optic cable, or it's a optical fiber cable. Understood. Through this optical fiber cable, the light will be reflected, and it will be traveling like this. It will not escape out from the optical fiber, and finally it will reach the destination. This is the basic block diagram that shows the optical fiber communication system. And I will just go through the different advantages of optical fiber. We all are familiar with the advantages of optical fiber, because nowadays, in most of the cases where we need high speed data information or high speed data communication, we will use optical fiber. The main advantage of optical fiber is its enormous potential bandwidth. It has the ability to carry large amount of information. Most of us may be having our FTTH connections in home for internet connection, right? We have internet connectivity from Asianet, or we have internet connectivity from Kerala Vision or from BSNL, whatever it may be. They will be, and through that optical fiber, you'll be getting a maximum information through that particular optical fiber. We can say that the minimum speed nowadays is around 20 Mbps. In the same case, if you use a copper cable, the minimum speed will be less than some kbps, or will be around some 50 or 100 kbps, or less than 1 Mbps. You may be knowing that if you install a normal copper cable, or if you install a normal Cat6 cable, or if you install a normal RF cable, or if you use your internet connection through a normal BSNL telephone cable, in that case, the speed that you are getting, the internet speed that you are getting will be less than 1 Mbps. But at the same scenario, if you install an optical fiber, the minimum speed will be around 20 Mbps, around 20 times faster than a normal Cat6 cable. So the amount of information that can handle by an optical fiber is very large when compared to a normal copper cable. The size and the weight of a normal optical fiber is very, very small when compared to a normal copper cable. That is another important advantage. So after this slides, I will show you the basic size difference or size comparison between a normal optical fiber and a copper cable. And another important advantage is electrical isolation. What is electrical isolation? Usually in home, we may be facing the issues of thunder or lightning. So in that cases, our parents may be informing us, so there is a lightning, please disconnect your phone, or please disconnect your land phone from the line, or please disconnect your TV from the line. So just like they will be saying, right? So for optical fiber, there is no such issues because they are made up of glass or plastic. There is no metallic conductors in optical fiber. Because of that, there is no chance for electrical shock, or there is no chance for electrical leakage in case of any lightning or thunder or any other electrical leakage. There is no such issues. The circuit or the communication line is completely isolated from such type of electrical hazards. So that is another main advantage. And another fourth advantage is the immunity to interference and crosstalk. What do you mean by immunity to interference and crosstalk? There is no chance for the leakage of information between the neighboring communication channels. Usually in landlines and all, we may be facing during raining season and all, we may be when you pick up your land phone, you may be hearing some other sounds, like some others are speaking or some others are talking in between. So such type of noise disturbances you may be getting in the case of a normal copper communication or normal land phone communication. But that will not happen if you are using a optical fiber, because light will not leak between the two communication channels. Light will not mix each other, and because of that, there is no interference, there is no crosstalk between the neighboring communication channels. Another main advantage of optical fiber is its security, signal security. Optical fibers is very difficult, or optical signals is very difficult to tap. What do you mean by tap? If you are getting information from a communication channel, then it is known as a tapping. So when you transmit the information as light, a normal person or a normal thief cannot identify what is actually transmitting as light. But if you are using a normal electrical signals to carry the information, you can simply connect, or you can simply leak out the information which is transmitted through a normal metallic conductors, which is transmitted through a normal metallic cables. But it is difficult to tap information if you are transmitting information as light. Then low transmission loss that we have already discussed. Ruggedness and flexibility. It's highly flexible. The optical fiber is highly flexible. We can also, it's also reliable. We also need fewer repeaters. What do you mean by repeaters? Repeaters means amplifiers. If you want to transmit a signal to a long distance, usually amplifiers can amplify the signals and they can retransmit. But if you're using a normal metallic conductor, the number of repeaters or the number of amplifiers that you need in between a particular source and destination is very large, because as the information, as the electrical signals travels through the metallic conductors, due to the resistance of the metallic conductors, the signal will die out after a few distance. Okay, again at that particular point where the signal reduces to zero, again we need booster amplifiers, or again we need repeaters to boost the signals and again to send it to the longer distance. But if you transmit the information as light through optical fiber, the loss felt by that particular signal is very small, because as we know, when we transmit the light through an optical fiber, or when we transmit information through an optical fiber, the chance for leakage or the chance for loss is very, very small. So because of that, the number of amplifiers required between the transmitting side and the receiving side is very small. And stable performance. The performance of optical fiber remains stable. So once you install around 50 to 20 years or 20 to 50 years, the performance remains stable. If you are not affecting, or if you are not damaging the fiber, the performance of the fiber remains same. But in the case of copper, the performance will get degraded, it get corroded, or it get rust So in that cases, the performance, the resistance will increase and the performance will decrease. But in the case of optical fiber, it will not get affected by any external factors or any external climatic conditions, because as we know, plastic will not get corroded or plastic will not get damaged even if you keep it simply or directly buried under the ground. It will not get damaged. So we are using a plastic fiber or we are using a glass fiber. So the amount of degradation to the quality of that fiber is very less. As a result, the performance will remain stable. Then topology compatibility means it can be used in any network. There is no such limitations. We can use in any networks, and the cost is also very small. And material availability, usually optical fibers are made up of plastic or glass. Glass, as you know, it can be easily manufactured from silica, which is plenty of silica is available in earth. So the material, the raw material which is required for the manufacturing of optical fiber is also available, and the standardization. Optical fiber communication system can be standardized. So it's easy to standardize all the equipments that we are going to use in an optical communication system. So these are the basic advantages of using optical fiber communication system. This is what I discussed already. It's noise immunity. Optical communication system has a high advantage than normal copper cable or metallic conductor. It's highly immune to radio frequency interference and electromagnetic interference. It has high bandwidth, the small size and lightweight. You can see in the figure the size of a normal copper conductor and the size of a normal optical cable. There's a huge difference in weight and size of an optical fiber cable and a normal copper cable. And in this figure, you can see a comparative figure. See here, this is our optical fiber and this is our copper cable. You might have seen this type of copper cable in BSNL landline circuits. Maybe seeing this in normal roadside where the BSNL people were installing this type of cables. Nowadays, we are not using this because of its disadvantages, and we are using only optical fiber. So this is a basic difference or size comparison between a normal optical fiber and a copper cable. And because of all these instead of all these advantages, there are some disadvantages also. So what are the disadvantages of optical fiber? First main disadvantage is its cost is small or its cost is less, but it's comparatively greater than the copper cable. Copper cable is cheaper than the optical fiber. The second case is optical communication system can be managed only by a skilled person, a person who knows what is optical communication system, or a person who knows how these signals are getting transmitted through optical fiber. So only that person can manage an optical fiber communication system. An ordinary person or a normal electrical person cannot manage an optical communication system. And as we already said, it has high immunity over information tapping, or it has it's highly secure communication system, but still there are methods to tap, there are methods to leak information from an optical fiber. And high cost of rights of way. What do you mean by rights of way? These optical fiber cables are also installed through roadside or through telephone post and all. So all these requires highly skilled person or needs very expensive methods or requires a lot of amount to either purchase the land or to take the telephone post on rent. So all these are expenses which are involved in the installation of optical fiber cable. When you install over the road, you need to dig the road, you need to retar the road. Suppose if you're installing over an electric post, you need to give rent to that electric post. So all those expenses are involved in the optical fiber communication system. And another main drawback of optical communication system is the powering of remote electronics. What do you mean by powering of remote electronics? You may be experienced this land phones, right? Most of you may be familiar with the land phones. What is the advantage of land phone? Even there is no power at your home, you can use your land phone, right? The exchange may be providing power supply to your land phone. Your land phone will ring, or you can speak over your land phone even if there is no power at your home. There is no electrical power at your home, because the land phone is powered by a exchange. The nearby exchange will be sending power to the land phone. But that is not the case of an optical communication system. For an optical communication receiver to work, at your home also you need a power backup. At the receiving side and at the same time at the transmitting side, you have a power backup. Then only this optical fiber communication system will work. You need to have power backup at both ends. But that is not the case in the case of a normal copper cable. You might have seen your Wi-Fi routers can be powered remotely because they can be powered through copper cables. They can be powered with the help of normal metallic conductors. But in the case of an optical fiber, as we are using glass and plastic, which are not the conductors of electricity, it can transmit only signals. We cannot transmit electrical power over optical cables. And because of that, at the receiving side and the transmitting side, you need a power backup to power your transmitter and the receiver. That is the main drawback. And the difficulty in handling, it is very difficult to handle this optical fiber installation and splice. What do you mean by splicing? Joining. Once this optical fiber is broken, or once if this optical fiber is damaged, you need a special method. You need some specialized technicians, or with the help of a specialized equipments, then only you can splice or you can rejoin this optical fibers, and it's expensive to install, as I already said, expensive to install. And another main thing that you need to notice, it cannot be curved just like a metallic conductor. Copper conductors can be curved or it can be bent even by 180 degree, can bend a normal copper cable, but an optical fiber cannot be bent to such an angle. You need to keep always a proper dimension, or you need to keep on always a proper diameter to bend an optical fiber. And still there are some attenuations. As I said, there is no loss when compared to copper. That's right. But at the same time, there are some losses when compared when you check the glass conductor, or when you check the glass transmitter, you can see that there are some losses which are which are internally present inside the optical fiber. Okay. And these are the different areas where we use optical fiber communication system. This our 4G, 4G Lite, 5G, all these transmission speeds or all these communication speeds are possible only with the help of a normal optical cable. With your normal copper conductors, you cannot achieve this much speed. Nowadays, we are getting 4G speed in your mobile phone. And that is possible only because the data is reaching the mobile tower. Up to there, your information is reaching in the form of light, and from the mobile tower it is reaching to your phone through air or through wireless medium. But till the bottom, or till the till the mobile tower, the information is reaching in the form of light, and because of that you are getting that much speed in your internet connectivity. And cable TV is another main area where we use optical fiber. Previously, we were using RF cables or normal metallic conductors to send the information. This Asianet, Surya, all those channels were transmitted to our home through normal RF cables or through normal metallic conductors. There, what was the issue? If there is lightning or thunder, we may not be able to patch the particular TV channels because we will be facing some issues on the TV, right? But nowadays, all these all these TV channels are transmitted through optical fiber. So what is the advantage? Even during the lightning or thunder, TV channels with a high definition clarity, because the clarity and at the same time there is information security. All these signals can be, or all these channels can be watched with a high precision or high resolution. So nowadays, all the cable network providers or all the cable TV channels are moving to optical fiber, for transmitting their signals. And data centers is another main area where we use optical fiber communication system. Why we use optical fiber communication in data centers? Because they need to carry a large amount of information. So in data centers, even if you use a normal copper cable, the information transmission speed is very, very small. So you will be facing a large delay if you send a request to a particular session, because you may be facing that. You can even access a Google Drive directly without much delay, right? Nowadays, we may be saving all our online information in Amazon servers, any other cloud servers we may be using, right? Why we are able to access all those remote servers just like a folder in your computer? Because we are actually communicating through optical fiber, because information is transmitted at a very high speed. You can access a folder in a different country, or you can access a folder on a computer in a different continent within a fraction of a seconds, because information is transmitted as light. So that information will be transmitted at the speed of light. And because of that, you can easily access all the remote servers or all the data centers. Information stored in all the data centers can be accessed directly without much delay. And another important area where we use optical communication system is the aerospace and defense. Why we are using optical communication system in aerospace and defense? Because of its lightweight and security. We know all our spaceships, the primary aim is to reduce the weight of this spaceships, right? So suppose if you want to communicate, or if you want to interconnect the different communication devices in that particular spaceship using a copper wire, again the weight of the spaceship will get increased. So if you are using optical fiber, it is very light in weight. At the same time, it has high security, it has high information carrying capacity. So in such cases, we'll be using optical fibers in spaceships or aircrafts. Also in fighter jets, these fighter jets are communicating with each other, not directly. If you are communicating through Earth station, it will be communicating through the optical fiber. You can see the fighter jets, if they are at same visible point, then they will be communicating directly. And if they are far away from each other, in that cases, they will be communicating through ground station, and the ground stations will be communicating each other through optical fibers. And also in the case of missile launching, in the case of radar application, all these areas are highly secure and they need to carry large amount of information. So all those applications uses optical fiber instead of a normal metallic conductors. Okay. And these are some of the other areas where we use optical fiber. In automotive sector, where we are going to use, because nowadays all the cars, automotive section are interconnected using normal copper wire. What is the disadvantage of copper wire? As the temperature increases near the engine parts, or near the brake sensors, or near the fuel sensors and all, if you are using a normal copper wire, as the temperature increases, there's a chance for the resistance to get increased. There's a chance for the plastic to get damaged, or copper wires will get short, it will burn. All those issues are there. But if you're using an optical fiber which is made up of glass, then all these devices can be securely communicated to each other. They can be securely interconnected to each other. The information can be transmitted without any loss, even in under different temperature conditions, or even under different moisture environments. So all these environments, or all transmission medium, or the transmission path. So in automotive sector, for interconnecting the different sensors inside the vehicle, temperature sensor is there, fuel sensor is there, pressure sensor is there, climatic control is there, traction control is there, your GPS signal is there. So all these informations are transmitted between the different sensors using optical fiber. And another main area where we use optical communication is the endoscopy. Why we use in optical communication or optical transmission method in endoscopy? Because as we are all, or at least some of you may be familiar with this endoscopy. What is endoscopy? It is a method to identify ulcers, or that disease called ulcer in our it's just like a wound in our small intestine or large intestine or inside our stomach. So how you will identify that? You will be using a plastic fiber. You will be using that flexible plastic fiber to identify that. How you will identify? You will insert that through your mouth, and it will go directly into your mouth. And as it is flexible, it can easily move stomach. It can easily capture the photos. So these photos are used to identify the methods to treat that particular person. So that's another main advantage of optical fiber. It is highly flexible. It can be used in areas where we cannot use direct metallic conductors. Suppose if you think how you will insert a normal metallic conductors into your mouth, it will not go directly into your mouth. The material that we are using should be highly flexible. Then only we can use in such type of situations. So this is one of the most important applications in medical areas. Okay. And now I will explain some basic principles of how this light works, or how this light travels through an optical fiber. Most of you may be familiar with these physics principles: refraction, reflection, diffraction, scattering, and dispersion. We are using these principles to send light through optical fiber. What is refraction? Refraction involves the change in the direction of waves as it passes from one medium to another medium. This is known as refraction. When light passes from one medium to another medium, you can see that it will not go straight line. So this was a straight line, right? So light will not go straight line. Instead of that, the light will bend slightly to a different direction, and then it will move. And that property of the light is known as a refraction. Then what is reflection? The bending back of light into the same medium is known as reflection. If the light reflects back to the same medium, then it is known as reflection. Then what is refraction? Spreading of, what is diffraction? The light bending as it passes around the edges. Suppose a light is coming from this side, and around the edges, the light will bend. Instead of going straight line, some portion of the light